Hello everyone, this is Mr. Kozlowski. Welcome to another lecture. Today I'm going to be talking about CER, and this is a lecture that is an overview of actually 3 learning targets from Unit 1. Learning targets 4, 5, and 6. I will also have mini lectures out on each one of those learning targets, but this topic, since it's all kind of lumped together, I wanted to give you the kind of big picture of what we want to accomplish throughout this year. CER stands for Claim, Evidence, and Reasoning. And in science, we like to write conclusions and draw conclusions based off of data we collect. Those 3 components, claim, evidence, and reasoning, are components to an evidence-based response or conclusion. We make conclusions all the time in science, and what we say is backed and supported by evidence and reasoning. So when we write in science, and when you write in science class, we're going to be looking for this type of format, claims, evidence, and reasoning, when you write an evidence-based response or lab conclusion. So what is a claim? Claim is probably the simplest of the 3 components. These are inferences or a conclusion to a question or a problem that you pose in your lab. It usually agrees with your observational data and also answers the question. It's a statement in which the argument for what you're claiming is supported. It's organized. And we'll talk more about argumentation later on this year, but that goes along with taking a position on a particular issue or problem. So claims aren't just limited to science. Claims can also be made in other aspects of life as well. Evidence is the data that supports the claim. It's any fact, data point, or observation that supports mainly your claim. It can also counter other theories, hypotheses, or other claims themselves. Evidence doesn't necessarily prove anything. Evidence has the purpose of supporting that claim. Evidence is usually collected also from the data that you guys collect in your labs. You're going to be collecting 2 main types of data, quantitative and qualitative data. Quantitative is going to deal with measurements, numbers, units, and qualitative data is going to deal with descriptors like qualities of an object. So like if you say something is warm or you notice a color change, that's a quality of what's going on in the lab. So that's qualitative data. Finally, reasoning. Reasoning is the justification that links the evidence to the claim. It's a logical explanation for how evidence can support the claim, and it involves generally a scientific rule or concept that we're trying to teach you in class. It's basically a way of interpreting the evidence. So with those 3 things, if you look at this little graphic here, there's some simple questions if you pose that are related to claim, evidence, and reasoning. What do you know is basically the answer to that question is the claim. How do you know that? The answer to that is your evidence. And then why does your evidence support your claim? Well, that's the reasoning. Those 3 things combined, again, make up an explanation. We call that explanation, or at least I call that explanation in science, an evidence-based response. And that is the ultimate goal of your scientific writing and conclusion writing when we get going with labs in our class. Finally, an example. Here is an example problem and the evidence-based response that was given. So as you can see, the problem is, what effect does pollution have on plant growth? And then here they give 3 levels here, and they separate out claim, evidence, and reasoning. And you can see that the claim, fairly simple. In this case, the claim, plant growth is inhibited by the presence of pollution in water. It is supported by the evidence. The evidence in this case is plants grew on an average of 3.5 centimeters or less when they watered with polluted water than with rainwater. So again, evidence is going to support the claim, and claim always fits with the evidence. What ties that all together and supports it is the reasoning. And the reasoning, again, kind of explains why the evidence supports the claim. So reasoning here, because of chemicals in the polluted water, the water does not effectively allow sunlight to get to the plant's chloroplasts, which enable the plant to make food. This means plants can't grow as rapidly. So as you can see here, this reasoning is a logical explanation of why this evidence supports this claim. This would be a proper and good evidence-based response, and what I would be looking for in your scientific writing. So there you have it. CER, claims, evidence, reasoning, the three things you need for evidence-based response in science. We are going to be working on this a lot throughout the year, so again, you're going to get a lot of practice. Please let me know if you have any questions at all anytime throughout this whole writing process. There is a short quiz that goes along with this, so please complete that as well as take good notes, and we'll see you in class.